So now let us discuss the second dimension of categorization in decision making. The second dimension of categorization is mostly related to the complexity, the structure, and the uncertainty involved in a problem. Now, there are three levels of structure which can be used to describe the range of complexity and uncertainty relevant to decision making, which are mostly structured, semi-structured, and mostly unstructured. In a mostly structured category, this usually includes decisions where variables and appropriate rules can be easily defined. Now, usually these decisions can be automated. For example, a replenishment of inventory falling under a level of safety stock. If a system determines that an inventory is running low of its stock, it can be automated to decide on its own to issue a reorder to restock the inventory. Since most of these decisions can be automated, a decision support system is usually inappropriate in this kind of situations. For this type of problem where uncertainty is low, operations research or financial modeling techniques are more effective rather than using a decision support system. In a semi-structured category, normally this is a situation where there is a degree of uncertainty due to incomplete knowledge and rules and objectives that are not specific. An example of this is whether to accept a contract with a new supplier with a bad record of low-quality goods from 10 years ago. Now, this kind of problem or decision cannot be automated based from these facts because not every supplier with a bad record continues to have bad records, especially if the last bad record of the supplier was from 10 years ago. A decision maker can use his discretion whether to accept a contract with this specific supplier if he intends to trust the new supplier. A semi-structured category is actually more frequent than the other two categories, which is why a decision support system is more catered for this type of structure. And lastly, a mostly unstructured category is actually a situation where there are no guidelines, rules, and precedents whatsoever that would need the best judgment in coming to a decision. For example, offer up a new type of service based on a new technology. For this example, an organization offers up a new type of service on which it has no prior experience of, and on top of it, it will be based on a new technology which is full of uncertainty if it would be a click to most consumers. A decision support system can be relevant in these situations, but only up to the point of detecting problems and calculating some of the variables that are presented. Mostly, a decision maker would still need to use his or her best judgment when coming to a decision. Now let's do an activity which involves decision categories. We will be using the Dusk Video Shop as discussed on prior modules. Here are the facts. Dusk Video Shop started operations a few weeks ago in 5 locations: Makati, Los Baños, Davao, Iloilo, and Cebu, with each location with 10,000 videotape titles at 2 copies per title in VHS format available for rent to members. The shop's policies on borrowing are: a membership fee of 100 pesos is required of each non-member borrower. Only members with proper identifications are allowed to borrow videotapes. A member is allowed to borrow a maximum of 5 videotapes at one time. Borrowed tapes are due after a number of days equal to the number of tapes borrowed at any one transaction. And lastly, every videotape returned after the due date is subjected to a fine amounting to 30% of the rental fee for every day of delay. Now, for this activity, we will be combining the 2 dimensions of categorization, which would yield a 3x3 matrix defining 9 different categories of decisions. Now for this case, we have determined these 9 different categories. Now that concludes our activity.